Your eyes are lying to you. Right now, as you watch this, you think you're seeing me, seeing these words, seeing light itself. But you're not. You've never actually seen anything in your entire life. Not your mother's face, not a sunset, not even your own hand. What you think is vision. It's the most elaborate deception your brain has ever pulled on you. I spent my life unraveling the mysteries of light, and I can tell you that the moment you understand what vision really is, everything you believe about reality crumbles. Are you ready for that? Let me ask you something. Right now, look at your hand. You see it, don't you? The skin, the lines, the color. You're absolutely certain your eyes are detecting your hand directly. But here's what's actually happening, and it's going to disturb you. You're not seeing your hand at all. What you call seeing is your brain constructing an elaborate fiction from electromagnetic radiation that bounced off your hand, traveled through space, and triggered a cascade of electrical signals in your retina. The hand itself, you've never seen it. You've only seen light, ancient starlight, processed through biological machinery, interpreted by neural network, and presented to your consciousness as the illusion of direct perception. When I was developing the theories that would reshape physics, I became obsessed with a simple question. What is light? Everyone thought they knew. Light illuminates things. Light lets us see. Light travels from here to there. Simple, obvious, unquestionable. All wrong. Light doesn't illuminate anything. Light doesn't let you see anything. Light is electromagnetic radiation, oscillating electric and magnetic fields propagating through space at exactly 299,790,48 meters per second. No substance, no particles in the classical sense, just field, pure energy and waveform. But here's where it gets strange. These electromagnetic waves have no color, no brightness, no visual properties whatsoever. The radiation bouncing off your hand right now, it's colorless, invisible, meaningless until it interacts with the biological machinery in your eye. The electromagnetic spectrum extends from radio waves miles long to gamma rays smaller than atomic nuclei. Your eyes can detect only a tiny sliver, wavelengths between roughly 400 and 700 nanometers. That's less than 1% of all electromagnetic radiation. The vast majority of the light in this room is completely invisible to you. So when you look at your hand, you're seeing less than 1% of the electromagnetic information available. It's like trying to understand a symphony by hearing only a single note. The reality your eyes show you is a fraction of what's actually there. But even that tiny fraction doesn't create vision directly. Here's what really happens step by step, and I want you to follow this carefully because it reveals the profound strangeness of perception itself. Electromagnetic radiation strikes your hand. Different wavelengths interact with the molecules in your skin differently. Some are absorbed, others are reflected. The reflected radiation propagates through space toward your eye. This takes time, about 3 nanoseconds to travel 1 meter. So already you're seeing your hand as it was 3 nanoseconds ago, not as it is right now. The light enters your eye through the cornea, passes through the lens, and strikes the retina. Now comes the first transformation. Electromagnetic radiation becomes biochemistry. Specialized cells, called rods and cones, contain molecules that change shape when hit by photons of specific energies. The shape change triggers a cascade of chemical reactions which generate electrical impulses in nerve cells. These electrical impulses travel along the optic nerve to your brain. The journey takes several milliseconds. So now you're seeing your hand as it was nanoseconds plus milliseconds ago. Still not the present moment. In your brain, these electrical signals undergo extraordinary processing. Multiple regions analyze different aspects, motion, edges, colors, textures. Your visual cortex doesn't just receive these signals. It interprets them, fills in gaps, makes assumptions, creates a coherent image from fragmented electrical data. And here's the shocking part. Your brain invents most of what you think you see. You have a blind spot in each eye where the optic nerve connects to the retina. No photoreceptors exist there. You should see 2 black holes in your vision, but you don't. Your brain fills in the gaps seamlessly, creating visual information that doesn't exist. Your eyes make tiny movements called saccades about 3 times per second. During these movements, you're effectively blind. Your visual system shuts down to prevent blur. But you never notice these moments of blindness. Your brain maintains the illusion of of continuous vision by filling in gaps with prediction and memory. Colors don't exist outside your brain. The electromagnetic radiation bouncing off your red shirt has a wavelength of approximately 650 nanometers. That wavelength is not red. Redness is a subjective experience created by your nervous system when 650 nanometer radiation triggers specific photoreceptors. The radiation itself has no color, no warmth, no visual properties at all. You think you see clearly across your entire visual field, but only the center, the fovea, provides sharp vision. Everything in your peripheral vision is blurry, colorless, barely resolved. But your brain doesn't tell you this. It creates the illusion of uniform clarity by constantly moving your eyes to sample different parts of the scene, then stitching together a coherent image that never actually existed in any single moment. You think you see in real time, but everything you see happened in the past. Light from the sun takes 8 minutes to reach Earth. When you see sunlight, you're seeing the sun as it was 8 minutes ago. The nearest star beyond the sun appears as it was 2 years ago. Distant galaxies appear as they were millions or billions of years ago. But even objects in this room, you see them in the past. Light takes time to travel from the object to your eye. Signals take time to travel from your eye to your brain, and processing takes time in your brain. By the time you become conscious of seeing something, it has already changed. You live in a world of electromagnetic echoes processed by biological machinery, interpreted by neural networks, and presented to consciousness as the convincing illusion of direct, immediate perception. Now let me share something that will shatter your understanding completely. Light doesn't just bounce off objects passively. When electromagnetic radiation interacts with matter, the radiation is absorbed by electrons in atoms, which raises those electrons to higher energy levels. Then almost immediate, the electrons fall back to their original state, emitting new radiation. This means the light reaching your eyes didn't just bounce off your hand. It was absorbed and re-emitted by billions of atoms in your skin. The electromagnetic radiation you detect was created by quantum mechanical processes in the atoms of your hand nanoseconds ago. You're not seeing your hand, you're seeing quantum mechanical emissions from atomic transitions triggered by other electromagnetic radiation. Every photon hitting your retina is a quantum particle. Before a photon hits your eye, it exists in a superposition of all possible paths it could take. It doesn't travel in a straight line from the object to your eye. It explores every possible route simultaneously. When you see something, you're collapsing quantum superpositions. The act of detection, photons hitting photoreceptors, forces quantum possibilities to become definite outcomes. In a very real sense, vision doesn't just detect reality, it participates in creating it. Your vision is literally a time machine. Every photon in your eye is a messenger from the past, carrying stories of where it has been, what it has encountered, how the universe has changed during its journey to reach you. The speed of light isn't just a speed limit, it's the speed at which causality propagates through the universe. Information can't travel faster than light, which means there's a fundamental limit to how quickly changes can propagate from one place to another. This creates a strange consequence for vision. When you look at someone across the room, you're seeing them as they were nanoseconds ago. When you look at the moon, you're seeing it as it was 3 seconds ago. When you look at the sun, you're seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. There is no universal now. Every observer has their own present moment, defined by the light they're receiving. Reality isn't a single shared moment. It's a collection of overlapping light cones, each observer experiencing their own slice of space-time. And here's the deepest mystery: consciousness. All of this processing, electromagnetic radiation, photoreceptors, neural signals, brain processing, it's all mechanical. It's physics and chemistry and biology. But somehow, somewhere in this cascade of physical processes, consciousness emerges. The subjective experience of seeing, of redness, of brightness, of depth. How does electromagnetic radiation become the experience of vision? How do neural firing patterns become the sensation of seeing color? How does the brain create the feeling of direct perception from indirect electromagnetic echo? Your brain receives about 10 million bits of visual information per second, but you're consciously aware of only about 40 bits per second. That means 96% of the visual information available to your brain never reaches your consciousness. You're seeing less than 100% of the electromagnetic information your eyes collect. Perhaps consciousness evolved precisely to reduce information, to create a simplified, manageable representation of electromagnetic reality. What you experience as vision might be consciousness protecting you from the overwhelming complexity of the electromagnetic world. Your smartphone communicates using electromagnetic radiation at frequencies your eyes cannot detect. Wi-Fi signals carry information through electromagnetic waves you cannot see. GPS relies on electromagnetic signals from satellite, propagating at light speed. You live immersed in an ocean of electromagnetic information, most of which remains forever invisible to you. Yet despite these limitations, vision has enabled humans to understand the electromagnetic nature of reality itself. Through scientific investigation, humans discovered the electromagnetic principles that explain how vision works. It's as if the universe has bootstrapped itself to consciousness. Electromagnetic interactions created biological systems capable of detecting electromagnetic radiation. These systems evolved into brains capable of thinking about electromagnetic interaction. Those brains developed scientific methods for understanding electromagnetic principles. The circle is complete. Electromagnetic radiation understanding itself through electromagnetic radiation understanding itself through electromagnetic interaction. If your visual experience is constructed from electromagnetic information and consciousness emerges from neural processing of that information, then what you call reality is fundamentally informational. You don't see objects, you see information pattern. You don't see light, you see information about electromagnetic field fluctuation. You don't see colors, you see information about wavelength frequencies. Everything you've ever experienced visually has been information processing. Mathematics transformed into conscious experience through biological computation. The photons hitting your retina, the neural patterns in your brain, the conscious experience of seeing, they're all aspects of the same underlying reality. Information patterns in space-time, temporarily organized as conscious observation. So when you look at your hand, remember, you're not seeing your hand, you're experiencing a representation constructed by your brain from electromagnetic radiation emitted by quantum transitions in atoms, detected by biological machinery, processed by neural networks, and somehow transformed into conscious visual experience through mechanisms we don't understand. The hand you think you see, solid, colorful, immediate, real, is a magnificent illusion, a story your brain tells you about electromagnetic echoes from the quantum world. You've never seen anything, you've only experienced the brain's interpretation of electromagnetic radiation. Vision isn't direct perception, it's the most sophisticated virtual reality system ever created, running continuously in your skull, creating the convincing illusion that you have direct access to the world around you. You are not outside the universe looking in. You are the universe looking at itself through electromagnetic interaction, temporary, organized as conscious awareness. But let me push this deeper. When light interacts with matter, photons are absorbed by electrons, exciting them to higher energy levels. These excited electrons then emit new photons as they fall back to their ground states. This means every photon reaching your eye was created moments ago by atomic transitions in the object you think you're seeing. The electromagnetic radiation entering your eye didn't come from the object, it came from quantum mechanical processes triggered by electromagnetic interaction. You're not seeing object, you're seeing the quantum mechanical afterglow of electromagnetic interaction. If consciousness filters out 96% of available electromagnetic information, what aspects of reality are we missing? Radio telescopes detect whispers from the universe's edge. Infrared cameras reveal thermal patterns invisible to biological vision. X-ray machines penetrate matter through electromagnetic interactions. Each technology expands perception into previously invisible portions of the spectrum, revealing that reality is far richer than biological vision can capture. Consider the strangest aspect, the role of time in vision. When you look at distant stars, you're literally seeing the past. Photons entering your eye left those stars years ago. Some stars you see have already died, but their light continues its journey, carrying information about stellar events that occurred before you were born. Your retina constantly receives messengers from across the cosmos and across time. Photons that traveled incredible distances, carrying information about the universe as it was, not as it is. This temporal displacement isn't limited to astronomical distances. Light from your hand takes nanoseconds to reach your eye. Processing takes milliseconds. By the time you become conscious of seeing your hand, it has already moved, already changed. You live perpetually in the past, experiencing delayed electromagnetic echoes of events that have already occurred. And if you traveled at near light speed, this temporal displacement would become extreme. Time dilation would slow your biological processes. Electromagnetic radiation would be frequency shifted by the Doppler effect. The entire visible spectrum would shift into invisibility. Consciousness itself is relativistic. Your ability to process electromagnetic information depends on your motion through space-time. The electromagnetic radiation you think of as light exists, whether or not there are eyes to see it, brains to process it, or consciousness to experience it. The universe was filled with electromagnetic radiation for billions of years before life evolved the ability to detect it. What was all that electromagnetic energy doing during those billions of years? It was propagating, interacting, carrying information, creating interference patterns, but there was no consciousness to interpret it as light or vision or color. The electromagnetic spectrum existed, but vision did not exist. Light existed, but seeing did not exist. This suggests something profound about the relationship between physical processes and conscious experience. The electromagnetic radiation is real, objective, measurable, but the experience of seeing, the redness of red, the brightness of bright, the sensation of visual depth, these emerge only when electromagnetic radiation interacts with specific biological structures. Consciousness takes objective electromagnetic patterns and transforms them into subjective visual experience. But how this transformation occurs, why it occurs, what determines the specific character of visual experience, these remain complete mystery. I spent decades developing mathematical descriptions of electromagnetic field, energy, momentum, and space-time. But the emergence of conscious visual experience from electromagnetic interactions, that transformation from objective physics to subjective experience, we have no equations for that. You are not just a detector of electromagnetic radiation. You are electromagnetic radiation that has evolved the ability to detect itself, to process itself, to experience itself as conscious vision. And perhaps most remarkably, this electromagnetic detection system, your visual system, eventually developed the scientific understanding to discover its own electromagnetic nature. The universe, through biological evolution and scientific investigation, has become aware of its own electromagnetic structure. Your eyes, built from electromagnetic interactions, evolved the ability to understand electromagnetic interactions. Your consciousness, emerging from electromagnetic neural activity, can contemplate the electromagnetic nature of its own operation. The circle is complete. Electromagnetic radiation has become conscious of itself. But there's one final revelation that will completely shatter your understanding of vision, of consciousness, of reality itself. Every time you see something, you're not just passively detecting electromagnetic radiation. You're actively participating in a quantum mechanical process that determines what exists. The act of observation doesn't just record reality, it helps create it. When a photon travels from an object to your eye, it doesn't take a single path. According to quantum mechanics, it takes every possible path simultaneously. It goes through every possible route between the object and your retina. Some direct, some wildly circuitous, some that even loop through distant galaxies. All these paths exist in superposition until the moment of detection. When the photon hits your retina, when it triggers a photoreceptor, the quantum wave function collapses. All those possible paths suddenly become one definite path. The quantum possibilities become classical reality. Your act of seeing participates in the fundamental process by which quantum possibilities become definite outcomes. Vision isn't just observation. It's a quantum measurement that helps determine what actually happened. This means that in a very real sense, the past doesn't exist in definite form until it's observed. The photon's path from object to eye isn't determined until detection occurs. The entire history of that photon's journey remains quantum mechanically uncertain until your visual system forces it into a single definite outcome. You're not just seeing the past, you're participating in creating the past. And here's the ultimate paradox. Consciousness, which emerges from electromagnetic interactions in your brain, can contemplate its own electromagnetic nature. The universe has evolved a way to observe itself, to understand itself, to question its own existence. Through your eyes, through your brain, through your conscious experience, electromagnetic radiation has become aware of itself. Matter has become conscious. The universe has developed the ability to see itself, to understand itself, to marvel at its own existence. You are not separate from the universe you observe. You are the universe observing itself through temporarily organized patterns of electromagnetic interaction. Welcome to the reality behind vision. You've never seen anything, and yet somehow through this elaborate electromagnetic deception, the universe has found a way to see itself.